Rick, the first question I want to ask you is, how did we get here?
We got here basically because of no notification of a hearing and no due process.
Yeah. First and foremost, let me ask you this. How do you feel that your cabaret license has been revoked?
It's ridiculous to me, but you know, all we ever wanted was a day in court. And from the time that anything had happened, we said we were told we would be given a day in court, and we just never did. They wouldn't listen to us. At city council, we weren't allowed to talk. They had some meeting with some people, and I got notice of the hearing on the 26th. They had the hearing on the 25th.
Yeah. They referenced, this all started because they talked about criminal activity at the location. Backing up, because we're going to get to the notice, and I think it's so important that you share your side of the story when it comes to that.
Yes.
But we got here, if we're backing up a little bit, this all started after the city launched an investigation into the cabaret license.
Correct.
They cited a lot of criminal activity. We're
Yes.
talking about homicides,
Yes.
illegal drug use,
Yes.
assault of a police officer, sexual activity. What do
Correct.
you say to all of that?
That there's no proof to any of it. They said something that looked like an illegal substance, but it wasn't grabbed and tested. It said the assault of a police officer was, I called the police, the guy didn't want to leave, and we didn't want to remove him physically, so we called the police. He wouldn't leave when they told him to, so they got physical, and unfortunately the female officer, he pushed her and she was injured, but I didn't assault her,
What do you say to the homicides? We're talking about we're talking about the city citing at least 3 homicides at this location. The most recent one in February. What do you say to that?
I say it's very unfortunate, but the one in 2006 didn't have anything to do with that. Was Cheetahs. Different owner, different everything. So 2006 is irrelevant, as far as this case is concerned. The one 2012 was outside, so and it was a function going on in the other bar.
Yeah.
So really, as far as we have to take responsibility for that one over there, but it was still outside.
Can you talk to me a little bit? The most recent homicide, 45-year-old man shot and killed inside the location. Take me back to that night.
I have to say that, we have to wait for a trial to come out. It's still under investigation. I don't know what's going on with that, so.
Why do you think the city is so adamant about closing you guys down?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's really, if you get a hold of the police call log, they never come up here. We don't have fights. We don't have brawls that they say. It just doesn't happen. So they get called up here. Last time they called up here is when I called them to help remove a customer to avoid any violence.
Yeah. They also said that you guys haven't taken proper measurements when it comes to security at the location. They say you guys failed to enhance security cameras. What do you say to that?
I don't know of a club that has more. You can see all the security cameras. They're displayed for the whole club to see, as far as everything being outside. Inside, there's 36 cameras around here. So, we have increased that, and we have the wand at the door, and we have, like I said, security guards, people watching the girls. We've taken every measurement.
Is there ever a line that's crossed with these girls and customers when they reference sexual activity?
But you got to understand, what is sexual activity? They didn't specify, and when my lawyer asked for the video, they said to get it from me. So.
Yeah. Let me ask, I know this is super tough for you. Let me ask you, when they talk about the homicides and all of the other crime that's happening here, you said something to me. You said 95% of the violence that happens deals with the girls.
Or over a female. If you're at a bar and the 2 guys fighting, it's usually over a female.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have fights in here.
Yeah. What security measures do you guys have in place? I want to hear that from you.
Like, I mean, you come in the door, you get wanted, and we're the only ones they say, you know, it's too easy to get in here, but we're the only ones in town with a coat check. We have a mandatory coat check. We have a dress code, you know, so then we have the guy at the door, and we have a guy out here, and we have myself and a couple other guys. So, I mean, I don't know where to say we have no security. It's not a nightclub. You know, there's no, unless you go to Detroit, there's nobody with, I mean, Omar's has one door guy. Deja Vu has a door guy. It's not like, you know, we're doing anything out of the norm for gentlemen's club. The security measures in gentlemen's clubs are completely different than a nightclub. And as you see, there are no nightclubs in Lansing. And even if they've had 100 security officers.
Is it safe to say 1, 2?
We always have 2.
At least 2.
Yes.
At least 2. So, and there were also rumors circulating that people were able to come in here armed. Is that true?
It's not that they were allowed to. You know, before in the past, you know, they've gotten in here, obviously, but it's not a normal activity at it, you know, not as normal as it is at any other bar in town, you know, because they don't have the wand at the door.
And they're not allowed to come in armed, right?
No, absolutely not.
Let's talk about the hearing. Let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about the hearing and the cabaret lights. How many employees do you have working for you? First, real quick, talk about how many security cameras you have.
36.
36 security cameras around the location, inside and outside,
Yes.
right? How many employees do you have working for you? With you guys being closed, how's that affecting?
Well, hopefully they won't go get another job right as of yet. So, but, I mean, like on a night or total?
In total, like how would, you guys aren't open, so how would this affect your establishment with not being open? Like how is this going to affect your employees?
Like I said, hopefully, you know, we're going to try to make some moves and it won't come to them having to go find another job. Yeah. And I believe they would come back even if they did. If we were to reopen, they would come back. I have loyal employees too. A bartender here has been here 18 years. You know.
You said you guys never got the hearing. Talk to me, because the city said they sent out a hearing for a notice of the cabaret license, you know, conversations about the cabaret license. You say you guys never got that notice.
I
Talk
showed
to me
you the
about
video.
that. Yeah.
I just showed you the video. We never got it. I actually did get it on the 26th. The hearing was on the 25th.
Yeah.
So, and I found out about it when I was at another bar with my nephew performing, and somebody from the city approached me and said, yeah, they're making a move to close it.
Did they say that you signed it?
Yes.
So that video was, they dropped something off in the mail, but it doesn't look like anyone signed it.
There's no way.
When was that? What date was that?
That was on March 15th, the day they said that we signed for it.
Yeah. Would you say you guys didn't get the proper due process?
We didn't get any process. They said we got a notice. We didn't show up. They did all these finding of facts, and then they had a hearing, and then they said effective immediately. This is all in between March 25th and April 7th.
Wow. So you're saying you guys didn't hear, how did you hear about your cabaret license being revoked?
About it being revoked? I was
Yeah.
at the city council meeting,
Okay.
you know, and I had a lawyer, and he came to the city council. We got there early, tried to talk to the city attorney, and we were denied that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What is one thing you want people to know about Centerfolds?
I just want them to, you know, a lot of people will tell you that the way the picture they're painting of this is not what it is at all. You know, and if you go through these findings of facts, they're just not facts. And I don't know who found them.
Yeah.
You know, what process they went through to find these facts, just, I don't understand it, but.
Yeah. What do you say, why do you think a location like Centerfolds is needed in Lansing?
Same reason they're needed anywhere. I mean, it's entertainment. Lansing, how many entertainment bars are there? How many dance clubs are there? Like a regular dance bar.
What do you say to your loyal customers?
I don't have to tell them anything. They know the kind of operation we run here. So it's the people that just live on social media that don't even go out. They're the ones that I'm trying to get to hear my side instead of whatever they read.
Yeah. Two sides to every story, huh?
Well, not so far. Hopefully after today there will be.
Yeah.
So.
What do you say? Let me ask you, hearing your side of the story, what do you say to the people who say this isn't safe, it needs to be shut down?
I'd say those people haven't been in here. You know, like I said, you can take a poll in the streets. How many people have ever seen a fight in here? Be very rare. I mean, I wish we had the call log to the police department on how many times they've actually been called up here.
Are you, because we have the facts from the city here. It looks like they cited starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like they cited 8 different criminal incidents. Are you discrediting those?
Now, was a criminal incident the guy at Sparrow Hospital?
Yes.
Okay, so they interviewed a guy at Sparrow Hospital who said he got assaulted in the parking lot. But they never came and checked the video footage. They never wrote a report to me. They never came and questioned us in any way. So right now it's just, obviously the officer believed the victim. But there was never any follow-up. That's the first I'd heard about that. And this was just last June, they claim.
Yesterday we spoke to a mom. She, her son was the victim from the 2013 shooting.
Outside. Yeah.
Yes. And she asked me to ask you a question. And she said, why didn't the club protect my baby? What do you say to that mom?
He was outside. I mean, we're trying to protect the people in here.
Yeah. Do you think you guys are responsible for protecting do you think you guys are responsible for security in the parking lot?
Like I said, there was a promoter having a party over there. That wasn't actually part of Centerfolds. I mean, it's obviously the same building, but they had their own security and they had to have 15 guys over there because it wasn't a thing with entertainers. It was just a party.
You guys not getting a notice from the city, do you think that that's illegal? Talk to me about that.
I just think the fact that they presented like we did and then, you know, and write down that we didn't show up and that, like we didn't care, we didn't know about it. So obviously we would have showed up if we would have known, you know, but I literally got the notice on the 26th and the hearing was the 25th.
I want to ask you this, Rick. I know the cabaret license was revoked just a few days ago.
Yes.
What type of stress is on you as a manager hearing that news?
It's very stressful, especially when you hear the reasons why and the fact that the reasons they did it aren't fact. You know, it just, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anybody. And the only people celebrating are the people who've never been in here and never had an intention to come in here. So,
The liquor license too. They recommended to the state that to get your liquor license revoked. That has been in place since 2002. What do you say to that?
well, that's not accurate either, but it's been in place since 83 or 84. They bought the building. So, but it was transferred in 2004
Okay.
to the Cheetahs company there. And then it was, like I said, they went into bankruptcy. We took it out of bankruptcy in 2012. So this license has been here since 2012.
When did you become the manager here?
2011.
2011. Are you guys going to try and fight this?
Yes.
What's the next steps for you guys?
Get an injunction to try to stop the cabaret license revocation.
What do you say to your employees? who work here? From the dancers, the security
Well,
guards,
dancers
the
aren't employees.
bartenders.
Dancers are independent contractors.
Okay, so what do you say to even technically they still get paid here from doing a service?
No,
Oh, they don't get paid. How do the dancers get paid?
they get paid by the customers.
Ah, got it. And
They-
then you
they
guys
work
take a
on tips.
percentage. Okay,
So-
okay. But what do you say to even them? They make their money here. Dancer. What do you say to the dancers, the bartenders, the
tell them just-
bouncers, everyone
Tell
here?
them stay tuned. You know, I'm keeping in touch with all of them. I mean, the first day we're closed was just Tuesday. Today's Thursday. So,
What do you say to the city?
the city, what do you mean?
You say you didn't get a hearing notice, you didn't get the proper due process. If you had a message for city officials who,
I'd just rather wait till we get to that point.
yeah,
Because
what is something you want people to know about your side of the story throughout this whole process? I know you say you didn't get the notice.
I mean, if we can go through these things that they're accusing us, then I can.
Yeah, we went through the criminal activity. We went through you guys not enhancing security, right?
Right.
I think Raleigh Van Fossen, who was the lead person looking into these facts, and he's also the director of economic planning and development for the city of Lansing.
I get that. And we had the one city councilman Jackson,
Yes.
who understood everything going on,
Absolutely.
and it seemed like he was ignored on everything he said. That was fact, you know, because he brought up the fact. Because I mean, they have in here under one of their findings of fact that I've been here since 2006. I don't know who found that fact because I was living in Vegas in 2006. I came here in 2011. So then they tried to, I took it as a personal assault or attack that they would bring it up in city council on live TV saying, you know, and he said one common factor on all three murders is Rick Johnson, and that's just insane to me. But after I told him at the beginning, I spoke at the beginning of the city council meeting, and I stated my name, when I started here, and I wanted to talk about the discrepancies, and I was never acknowledged.
Wow.
And my lawyer, he did the same thing. He said he wanted to talking about a rehearing because we never got notice, and he was ignored. All I've ever wanted out of this is my day in court, due process, and we're going to do whatever we can to get that.
Is it safe to say you believe this is not the end of Centerfolds?
Or it's not the end.
I kind of see in your face the stress this has caused you. I know we talked about it.
I've been in this business 31 years, you know, between Vegas, Miami, here. So, I mean, you know, they paint a picture that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm some kind of monster or something, you know, just to save my name with 3 murders, you know, doesn't set right with me. My family's law enforcement, you know, so.
What do you say to the families who have lost their loved ones?
I can't talk on that. I haven't. They're still, they have their own legal process. That's still under investigation. And like the 2006, I have no idea about that. I wasn't here. And like the other one was outside at a different party.
What's it like being Rick, manager of Centerfolds?
What's it like?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not what it's cracked up to be. Everybody said, I'd love to have your job. You might want to have my job for 2 days. You wouldn't want to do it 7 days a week for 31 years like I have. I can guarantee that.
You've worked in Las Vegas, Miami,
Yes.
other locations.
Fort Lauderdale, North Carolina.
Yes, all those other locations. What makes Lansing so special when it comes to having a gentleman's club?
Well, this is where I started, and this is where my family still is. And I have a lot of friends here, and it's just, now Lansing as a whole hasn't been that great. And that's another thing that Councilman Jackson brought up. He said, let's not focus on this being a gentleman's club. When, you know, another bar downtown, he said our neighborhood bars had like 6 shootings in 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, so, and there's been other shootings. Things happen downtown. They don't just get reported as much as things do on the south side.
Yeah.
And I understand they want to be protective of downtown, make downtown safe, but Right now, America's not safe, so I don't know how anybody can say any city is. Well,
Yeah. One final question for you, Rick. What message would you give to the people? You talked about them on social media, saying this place needs to be shut down, it's unsafe. What would you say to those people?
come check it out for yourself. You know, don't listen to the masses. I mean, the people talking, I'm telling you, have never been in here. They may have known somebody who worked here. There's so much on social media of disgruntled employees that got fired from here, or patrons that have been banned from here. And then they tell their friends, and it's just an ongoing thing, but it's not reality. You know, and I know some people will never come into an establishment like this, and that's fine. But that doesn't entitle you to bash it if you've never been here. Because like a lot of things in this whole thing, it's a lot of hearsay, a lot of accusations, unfounded accusations. So
It's tough. It's tough for your business, right?
it is very tough. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people, this is how they feed their families, but they don't think it's a proper way to do it, but it's been going on for 100 years, so I don't know.
Rick, I think you have done a good job expressing your side of things. Is there anything else you would like to add that we probably didn't cover?
Just want my day in court. That's all we ask.
Get your day in court. That's what you.
I mean, we have no due
want your
process.
day in court.
It's like they had a meeting, they had a hearing, they had a city council meeting without us saying one word. And then all of a sudden they revoked the license.
You said you got the letter on the 26th,
Sixth.
and then
The hearing was the 25th.
yeah.
So.
Alrighty.